You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the 7 and a Hook Podcast, the world's premier sports betting podcast. Your source for the best information and insight when it comes to sports wagering. We cover it all because you bet on it all. So let's head up to the studio and get this show rolling.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the 7 and a Hook Podcast, the world's premier sports betting podcast. I am Brooksy, the Irish Insider. This episode, we're going to focus on one thing, the beautiful game. That's right, international football, or as us Yanks like to call it, soccer. We're going to look at some UEFA Nation League matches. We're also going to break down some World Cup qualifying matches in both CONCACAF and CONMEBOL. And then we're going to end with some MLS, a little Major League Soccer. Before I get to the matches, before I get to my picks, got some exciting news. 7andahook.com website is up and running. Kudos to my co-pilot, co-host, Eric Easy Money LaFleche. Worked really hard on getting that thing launched, implemented, whatever he had to do. It is up and running. So head on over to 7andahook.com. Check out all of our content, all of our contact information. Please reach out to us. Let us know what you think. Socials, always got to mention them. It's the number 7 and a Hook. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and head on over to YouTube and search 7 and a Hook Podcast. Give us a subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. All right, let's get to the picks and breaking down the matches. Going to start with UEFA's Nation League match between Italy and Belgium. Now, this is for third place in UEFA's Nation League. So, to me, this is a very, very interesting clash. Belgium, ranked number 1 in the world, is coming off a heartbreaking 3-2 loss to France in their semifinal match this past Thursday. Italy, also coming off a loss, broke their 37-game unbeaten streak. Spain beat them 2-1. Now, the last time these two sides met was in the Euro 2020 semis, in which Italy came home with a 2-1 victory. To me, this game, it's essentially a home game for the Italian side, as it takes place in Juventus Stadium in Turin, Italy. Right now, the odds are set at Italy at a minus 105 favorite, and Belgium is a plus 260 underdog. Goal total set at 2 and a Hook. Italy, they've had an extra day's rest as their semifinal game was on Wednesday. And plus, like I said, this is essentially a home game. So they're really, really going to have the crowd behind them. Now, they will be without Leonardo Bonucci, who is going to be on a red card suspension. Now, that is a big loss. But Alessandro Bastoni from Inter Milan is going to step up and take his place. And don't forget that he'll be with, in the backfield, 37-year-old Chiellini, to kind of give him the support that youngster is going to need in that backfield. And, I certainly don't want to underplay how well their goaltender, young Donnarumma, has been playing in net for the Italian side. He's been hard to, goals are hard to come by when he's in net. Let's just put it that way. Now, Belgium, let's look at them real quickly. They have to be disappointed in letting another potential trophy slip through their fingers, right? I mean, had they beaten France, they'd be playing in the finals and playing for hardware. Now, this is what a lot of people consider their golden generation of players. Well, they're not producing a lot of trophies. So I don't know if they're really going to be up for this game. Playing for third place, a team that's ranked number 1 in the world, I don't know if there's a lot of motivation going into the match, but we shall see. Lukaku and De Bruyne are really, really going to have big matches today against Italy. They're their two-star players, and the team usually goes how they go, if that makes any sense. Now, Italian strikers, Lorenzo Insigne and Federico Chiesa, I think they're going to have their way today against an aging Belgian defense. So I look for Italy at minus 105 to win this match, and I also look for some free-flowing play today. So I'm going to go with the over 2.5, over 2.5 goals. So take Italy and go with the over 2.5 goals. All right, so staying in UEFA's Nation League, we're going to go to the final, okay? And that is Spain, plus 200 underdog, takes on favorite France, who's plus 250. Okay, goals also set at 2.5. Now, these two soccer powers meet, in the UEFA's Nation League final. Now, this game takes place on a neutral site, San Siro in Milan, Italy. So, a home crowd isn't really going to play into this. It's just whoever plays better. Now, France, let's look at how they got here. They pulled off a thrilling come-from-behind victory 3-2 over Belgium. Now, France trailed 2-0 at half. So certainly got to give them credit for not laying down in the second half of that game and doing what France does and lethal counterattack. We'll talk about that later, but 3-2 victory over Belgium to get there. Now, we look at how Spain, they ended up in the finals. They beat Italy 2-1. Now, they dominated the match. They were better every which way but loose. They had 75% possession in that match. If you look at the passes completed, Spain, 816 passes to Italy's 276. They had 13 shots on goal to 8. So they really, again, they dominated in the statistical part of the game, and they also obviously scored enough goals to make it to the final. Now, the last time these two sides met was an international friendly in 2017. Spain won that game 2-0. All right. This match is clearly a tale of two different styles. Okay. Spain, possession, 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 and more possession. That's what they do. And they look for an opening to attack. Okay. France, on the other hand, precise and lethal counterattacking. Mentioned it earlier. That's what they're known for. Two different styles tonight. It's going to be fascinating to see how this game plays out. Now, Spain, what are they going to look to do? Hold the ball. And then hold the ball a little bit more. And then hold the ball a little bit more. And look for an opening. That's what they do. Period. End of story. Okay? Now, in their last 7 meetings, Spain has won 5, drawn 1, and lost 1 to France. In 5 of those matches, France put up a goose egg, didn't score. Again, Spain doing what they do, hold the ball. If you don't have the ball, you can't score. Okay? Now, how does Spain, what do they need to do? Well, Ferran Torres, who scored 2 goals against Italy in their semifinal match, is going to have another big game. Okay? And then their captain in the midfield, Sergio Busquets. Again, he's going to have to be massive. He's going to have to be bigger than big in that midfield in this game. Okay? France, let's look at them real quick. They're on a 15-game unbeaten streak. 9 wins, 6 draws, no losses. Okay? France certainly has to have a lot of momentum coming into this game after that come-from-behind win over Belgium. So I think they really have the momentum here, okay? Again, they were down 2-0 at halftime and came back to beat Belgium. Their stars, their attacking stars, Antoine Griezmann, Karim Benzema, Kylian Mbappe, Paul Pogba, need I say more, okay? And then, listen, don't sleep on them on defense either, okay? their top defender, Rafael Varane, he's going to be right in front, center back, in front of their goaltender, Hugo Lloris. Okay? Now, a lot of people don't give Hugo the credit he's due. I just look at, again, his form of play. He's a starting goaltender for Tottenham Hotspurs. 10 matches this year. He's got about a 1 goal against average. He's playing good. He's playing very well in net, okay? So how do I see this match playing out? Well, I see France getting an early goal, and I see Spain having to open things up here because once they get down, they got to play catch up. So I like France at plus 150 to win this match, and I like the over 2.5. I like the over 2.5 goals. Okay, so all right, so let's now turn our attention to CONCACAF. All right, and some World Cup qualifying matches. First match I'd like to look at is Jamaica plus 310 hosting Canada, who's the favorite at plus 100. The draw is set at plus 200. Goal total set at 1.5. Kind of a low goal total if you think about it. So, all right, so Canada, they're going to travel to Jamaica in this CONCACAF World Cup qualifier. Canada currently sits third in the standings with 6 points. They're 2 points behind the U.S. men's national team and Mexico, who both have 8. And Canada is also 1 point ahead of Panama and El Salvador. Now, Jamaica, on the other hand, they are last currently in the standings. In qualifying, they've only secured 1 point so far. Okay. Now, Jamaica is coming off a 2-0 defeat to the U.S. men's national team this past Thursday. Okay. Jamaica, their 4 qualifying matches so far, 0 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses. They've only scored 2 goals, and they've let up 8. Okay. Now, both of their 2 goals are scored by their 24-year-old striker, Shamar Nicholson. All right, they need to get contributions from other people if they're going to do anything with the remaining matches in this World Cup qualifying set. Now, on top of that, they don't score. They're usually dominated in possession. Most games, 60-40. There's also been some games where it's been 70-30. So they don't hold the ball very well. Canada, they're coming off a 1-1 draw to Mexico at Mexico. That was at Estadio Azteca. Okay, so listen, that's one of the hardest places to travel to and play any type of match. So the fact that Canada held Mexico to a draw and came home with a point, that's a big, big win for Canada. Okay, now I'm also going to say here that Canada, folks, they are up and coming. They are an up and coming international football team. So keep an eye on them as they progress. But they definitely have some talented players. So how does this match break out? I think Canada's just got too much. I mean, you got Alphonso Davies, Tajon Buchanan, Alistair Johnson. Again, I just think they're going to be too much for Jamaica to handle in this game, even though the game is in Jamaica's home court. I like Canada at plus 100. And the goal total, as I mentioned earlier, was only 1.5. I like the over here. I think you're going to have a few goals scored here. So Canada plus 100 and over 1.5 goals. All right. So again, let's now stay in CONCACAF, and we're going to look at another match. And this is Panama hosting the U.S. men's national team. Panama is plus 450 underdog. The U.S. team comes in at a minus 130 favorite. The draw is set at plus 220. Goal total set at 2.5. All right, Panama, their 4 matches in qualifying so far, 1 win, 2 draw, and a loss. That loss came this past Thursday to El Salvador. They lost 1-0. Now, they've scored so far in their 4 matches 4 goals. They've only let up 2. Pretty good. They've got a very stingy and a very, very disciplined defense. So they're really good as we say in soccer or international football. They're really good at parking the bus. They're really really good at it. But you know what? They know their role. That's how they're going to be in games. That's how they have a shot at winning games. So look for them to do a little more parking the bus against the U.S. men's national team. Now the U.S. team, they're coming off a very solid 2-0 win over Jamaica. 18-year-old phenom Ricardo Pepe, he scored both the goals in that match. So he's going to make it very difficult for head coach Berhalter to not play him. Okay, so because that kid is super talented. So I think he's gonna do some big things for this national team. Now the U.S. men's national team currently sits atop the standings. They have 8 points along with Mexico, but due to goal differential, the U.S. men's national team currently sits in first. They have 2 wins and 2 draws so far in their 4 matches. Panama, they really lack any attacking players. So what are they going to need to do? As I mentioned earlier, they're going to have to do what they do best and sit back. All right, they're going to have to pack it in front of their goaltender and hope maybe for an opportunity on a set piece, maybe a corner kick or a free kick to set up a scoring opportunity, because I really don't see a lot of scoring opportunities for them against the U.S. men's national team. Now, the U.S. squad is certainly a much more talented squad. Now, of course, they are without some of their stars, Christian Pulisic, John Brooks, and Gio Reyna, all playing over in Europe, all with some injuries, not going to be part of this lineup or the squad at this time. Now, they're also going to be without Weston McKennie, Anthony Robinson, and Zach Steffen. Now, they're all part of this squad now, but Zach Steffen and Robinson won't travel to Panama because of the COVID travel restrictions. And Weston McKennie, who did play in their last match, has got a nagging injury, so he's going to stay home. Now, it looks like he will be in the lineup for the next match against Costa Rica. Okay, so how do I see this match playing out? Well, I got to look at kind of their recent history. Last 4 matches, the U.S. men's national team has won all 4 meetings. They combined 14 goals for the U.S., 3 goals for Panama. U.S. kind of has their number. All right, so I am going to lay the 130. U.S. men's national team travels to Panama. They're going to win this match, and I like the under 2.5 goals. Under 2.5 goals. I don't see Panama scoring. I see the U.S. getting a couple goals here. So U.S. men's national team minus 130, under 2.5 goals. All right. Last game we're going to look at in CONCACAF is Mexico hosting Honduras. All right. Mexico is a minus 390 favorite at home. Honduras is a plus 900 dog on the road. The draw is set at plus 450. Goal total 2.5. Mexico, they're coming off what Mexico would describe as a very disappointing loss at home against Canada. It was 1-1. Listen, anytime Mexico doesn't win at home, they consider it disappointing. Okay. Now Honduras, in their 4 matches so far in qualifying, 0 wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss. Okay, they're coming off a 0-0 draw against Costa Rica. They're still chasing that elusive first win in CONCACAF qualifying, and I don't know, I think they're still going to be chasing it after this match. So far in their four matches, they've scored 2 goals, and they've let up 5. So the last time these two sides met was in July 2021, and that was the Gold Cup quarterfinals, and Mexico trounced them 3-0. Okay, Mexico. Let's look at them quickly here. They have not exactly been lighting the soccer world on fire during this World Cup qualifying. So far in their 4 matches, they had a late goal to beat Jamaica. Okay, they had a hard-fought 1-0 win over Costa Rica, and then they've had draws against Panama and most recently Canada. So again, not exactly lighting it up. Honduras, they currently sit 7th in the standings in this World Cup qualifying table, and are simply just not finding any cohesiveness, whether it's offensively or defensively. So, and playing Mexico isn't exactly the type of team you're going to get things right against. So, Mexico's head coach Tato Martino, he knows that this match, they have to come home. They're at home. They have to bag 3 points. All right, this isn't a match they can lose. This isn't a match they can tie. They're at home. They're going to be playing against an undermanned Honduras team. They have to get things right, and I think they do. This is the kind of match that El Tri needs to get their train rolling. So I like Mexico. It's a big number, minus 390. They're going to win this match, and I also see the scoreboard getting lit up. So I'm going to take Mexico, and I'm going to take the over 2.5, the over 2.5 goals here. All right, so let's move now out of CONCACAF, and we're going to go to CONMEBOL. And we're going to look at a couple of their World Cup qualifiers. First match I want to look at is Colombia hosting. They're a plus 280 underdog. They're hosting Brazil. Brazil is Brazil, right? Brazil is favored. They're a plus 115 favorite on the road, and the draw is set at plus 200. And we're going to look at a kind of a funky goal total at the end of this breakdown. So, all right, let's look at big history first. These two sides have met 33 times, dating back to 1945. Brazil with 20 wins, Colombia 3 wins, and they've had 10 draws. Okay, the last time these two teams met was in Copa America, June 2021, and Brazil 2-1 victory. Now that was come from behind. Colombia had an early lead, but Brazil did what Brazil does and came back and won that match. Colombia, they're coming off a 0-0 draw against Uruguay. Okay, now Colombia sits 5th in the table, 5th in the standings here, and their 10 matches, 3 wins, 5 draws, and 2 losses. 16 goals for, 16 goals against. Okay, Brazil's last match, a 3-1 victory over Venezuela. Now they picked up that win without Neymar Jr., who was suspended due to yellow card accumulation. Now he is scheduled to be back in the lineup this match against Colombia. So you can kind of say that's bad news for Colombia. That's for sure. All right, Brazil. In their 9 qualifying matches so far, 9 wins, 27 points. They've scored 27 goals. They've only let up 3. Yeah. 27 goals. They've only let up 3. Playing great, great football. Colombia will be down a man. They're going to be without Juventus star Juan Cuadrado. Okay, forgot his name there for a minute. But they do have the home crowd behind them. Playing at home should give them that kick, I think, that they need. No pun intended. Okay, so if I look at their matches, their last 12 matches, okay, Brazil has only won 5. Okay, 6 draws, and Colombia has 1 win. Okay, so Brazil, they can't take this game lightly. Okay, Colombia is no joke, especially at home. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of hedge my bets on this one. Okay, I'm gonna take Colombia plus 280 to win the match. I'm also gonna play the draw. Okay, so 100 to win, 280 on Colombia. I'm also going to drop 100 on the draw, which is 200. Okay, and I found a great goal total, and it was over 1.5 goals at minus 195. There's definitely going to be some goals in this game. There will be more than 1.5. So I'm going to take those 3 bets. I'm going to have 3 live bets in this game. Okay, so Colombia, the draw, and the over 1.5 goals. All right, so let's now turn our attention to another CONMEBOL qualifying match, and that is Chile hosting Paraguay. Okay, Chile is a plus 105 favorite. Paraguay is a plus 290 dog. The draw is set at plus 235. Goal total set at 2.5. All right, Chile currently sits 8th in the standings after its first 10 matches. 1 win, 4 draws, 5 defeats. They've scored 9 goals. They've let up 14. Now they're coming off a 2-0 defeat to Peru. Now, this was a match that actually Chile dominated the game in terms of time of possession. Problem is, they couldn't put the biscuit in the basket. They couldn't score. Okay, they had the ball most of the game, most of the match, but couldn't score. Okay, Paraguay, well, they're 6th in the standings. 2 wins, 6 draws, 2 losses in their 10 matches so far in qualifying. Now they're coming off a hard-fought 0-0 draw against Argentina. Listen, anytime you can hold an Argentina team to no goals when Lionel Messi is on the pitch, you did something right. So I'm going to give Paraguay credit for holding Argentina and getting a point out of that game in a 0-0 draw. All right, neither of these teams would be considered an offensive juggernaut by any means. Okay, each is averaging just about 1 goal per match during this qualifying. Okay, last time they met was June 2021 during the Copa America tournament, and Paraguay won that match 2-0. Again, game was dominated by Chile. They had the ball in all statistical categories except one, putting a biscuit in the basket. Couldn't score a goal. Okay, now this game is at home. Got the crowd behind them. I look for Chile to reverse that wrong, as I say, and win this match. Okay, so Chile plus 105 to win this match, and I look for some goals. I'm going to go with the over 2.5 goals. So Chile plus over 2.5 goals. All right, last game we're going to talk about, and we're going to move to MLS, Major League Soccer. Okay, Minnesota United hosts the Colorado Rapids. Minnesota comes into this match plus 125 favorite. Colorado Rapids a plus 215 dog. The draw set at plus 255. Okay, goal total set at 2.5. Minnesota currently sits 7th in the standings in the Western Conference with 38 points. They're 1 point ahead of Vancouver, who sits with 37. Now, Vancouver lost last night to Seattle, the Sounders, 4-1. So they had an opportunity to leapfrog Minnesota, but didn't. Came up short. Okay, Seattle's playing some good football, some good soccer. So it's hard to put Vancouver down, but they really needed to step up last night, and they didn't. Okay, now for all that follow MLS or those that don't, the top 7 teams in each conference make the playoffs. Okay, so right now Minnesota sits 7th, so they're in. That being stated, there is a very tight race 5 through 8, even in 9th place. Right now you have Real Salt Lake, 39 points. LA Galaxy, 39 points. Minnesota, 38 points. Vancouver, 37 points. Now, sitting in ninth position right now is LAFC with 34 points. So they're still within striking distance. Now, there's 6 matches remaining, so anything can happen, but there's only so many matches left. When you have a chance to pick up 3 points, you need to, okay? Now, Colorado, where do they sit in the standings in the Western Conference? I would say they're in third, comfortably in third, with 48 points. But again, 6 matches remaining, anything can happen. So let's look at each team's run of play recently. And I'm going to look at their last 5 matches, okay? Minnesota, last 5 matches, 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. Their most recent match was a 0-0 draw to FC Dallas. Okay, Colorado, their last 5 matches, 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. Their most recent match, a 3-0 loss to Seattle. Again, Seattle beats a lot of teams, and they usually beat a lot of teams by a lot of goals, so hence you can see why Seattle is currently atop the Western Conference. Okay, last time these 2 teams met was earlier this season, and Colorado came away with a 2-0 victory. Okay, look for Minnesota United to rewrite that game, or rewrite history, and pick up a win in this match. So, I like Minnesota at plus 125. They need this victory. They need to put some space between them, Vancouver, and LAFC. They need to move up in the standing. I look for Minnesota at home to win this match. I look for some goals in this match, so I'm going with the over 2.5. Okay? So, hey, that's the episode. There's your soccer. There's your international football. Hopefully, I gave everyone some good insight and some good information. And you know what? Enjoy the matches. I know I'm going to be checking it all. This is a big day in sports. A lot of things going on today, including NFL. So, again, we appreciate everyone tuning in. So, I hope you have a great day. And as we always say, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.
Thanks again for tuning in to the 7 and a Hook podcast. Until next time, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.